All right, I'm gonna try to make this quick. Hopefully, this everything sound good. Hopefully, everything catching off. Welcome to the show. This is Motivation 101. I'm your boy Prince Casper, Craig Casper. All right, all right. Now this is Motivation 101. Invest in yourself, man. All right. So I was just driving, and I sat down for a minute. I was thinking about some stuff, and I was like, one of the biggest things is you gotta learn how to invest in yourself, man. For the most part, it's a lot of people out here that say they want to do certain things or say they gonna do certain things, but they don't put in the motivation, they don't put in the drive, man. And one of the biggest things that's key is spending money. You got to spend money on certain things that you think that you're gonna need as far as investing in yourself. One of the biggest things you could say, let's say somebody that's like a boxer. You got people like Mike Tyson. They a lot of times you're gonna have to be in the gym. You got people that they like to be in shape. You got to spend that money for that subscription. To be able to go to the gym every day. Or every 3 days, 3 days out the week. However much time you got to, you still got to put in that time and that money. To be able to go and box or train or whatever. All right. So with most of these different things that we come across, let's say if I say, all right, I want to run a podcast, I want to start a podcast. One of the biggest things I had to do is invest in what? A camera, okay, mics. What's another thing? There's ways that you can promote yourself as far as putting money. YouTube, you put money in YouTube. YouTube, put out your they'll put out your video more and more. It's different ways to invest in yourself, man. So all I'm saying is, nobody's going to give you $1 million. All right, it's never going to come a day. You wake up out of your sleep and it's a whole bunch of people with balloons and roses and everybody's happy. Here's $1 million with your name on it. No, man, that's never gonna happen. All right, you gotta go out there. You gotta grind, man. And that's for everybody. It's not just about this person. You got people in the world that's like homeless. You got people that lost their jobs or whatever. But for the most part, you know, you everybody got to grind. Every single person that's out here, you either can be a regular grinder as far as you could be a worker bee, or you could be a hard grinder as far as a entrepreneur. Starting your own business, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and like I said, you got to invest in yourself, man. All right, because nobody's going to invest in you. You might have certain parents, you a mom or dad, they might put some money or some into your business. You might have a woman. For you women, hey, you might have a man. That's putting in that time and that effort and that money for your business. But for the most part, it feels good to be able to say, I built this, I did this. I started this business. This business is here because of me. All right, so for the most part, you gotta grind, man. You know, um, I was just telling myself, man, as far as investing in yourself, we spend all this time on TikTok, YouTube, all these different social medias. I seen this video the other day where this dude, he basically was like, um, he was like, everybody got a phone, man. It's millions of people in America that has a phone, or got some type of communication, all right, some type of device, where they can hop online, all right. But not everybody's using it wisely. If you can learn how to make money off your phone, you win it, man. If you can learn how to, build revenue off Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all these different things. If you're able to build some type of social media presence, you're able to make more money than most NBA players, most celebrities. You got people like Kai Cenat, I Show Speed, Duke Dennis, all these different dudes that's so-called you know, what do you call it? They're YouTubers, they're streamers. Okay, but these streamers, they stream every single day. People look at the success. They look at the money, the things they buy, the things they do, but they're not looking at the hard work. They're not looking at the time and the effort that these people put into, man. So I mean, I'm just telling you, just a motivation video, man, just to, whatever you do, man, whether it be dancing, building a business, you know, toning your body, whatever you're doing, man, invest in yourself, man. All right, because it's gonna pay off. You could buy a woman, or for you women, you could buy a man, you could buy your husband or your wife, all these different things. Women, oh, I got a boyfriend. The men, I got a girlfriend. People invest all this time, all this effort into people. But if you will put that much time and that effort into certain things as far as a business or some type of way to build revenue, on online, man, you gonna win, man. All right. So this motivation 101, invest in yourself, man. All right, because ain't nobody going to do it for you. Nobody's going to carry you, man. You got people that's grown as hell. You got people that's old that still live with their parents. You got people that say that they want to do certain things, but they don't do it, man. If I say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it, man. My dad, he say he gonna do something, he gonna do it. You gotta be that type of person, to hold yourself accountable, man. You know, just like I know, like if I was talking to a woman, you know, and me and her, we just getting into it, we starting to feel each other. You spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of effort on her. You might pull up on her, all type of times of the night, during the day. The phone calls. Every time she call you, you want to answer. So you got to be on that same type of time, with your business. All right. Anytime you want to make money or you want to be successful, you got to put in that time, man. So invest in yourself, put that money in, do whatever it takes, man. All right. Because uh, you young as you are today, man. All right. Every day we just get older. All right. Ain't no time machine. You can't go back in time. You can't start over. You just got to pick it up from here. All right. So invest in yourself, whether it be money, whether it be time, and like I said, health is wealth, man. Not only do you put time into your business, but put time into your body, man. Work out, try to eat a little better, get you a little shake, eat natural foods, organic foods. Try to stay away from the fast foods, the processed foods, but invest in yourself, man. So it's been motivation 101. Hopefully this was, a good lesson, to get you going, man. So I see you. Y'all have a good one, man.